One of the things that we must understand is the fact that sexual harassment is not something to be condoned. And it's gone on for ages, but it's not acceptable. And we almost understand that the silence of our mothers and our elders is not our silence. And also our own silence is not the silence of the younger generation. And they're pushing back, and they have a reason to. On the issue of the sexual harassment, at any time that a victim feels comfortable or have had enough and speak out, we must understand that a lot of time there are always remote causes to something. You take it in, you keep quiet, and there is a moment where you just can't take it enough. And I think Senator Natasha Akpoti got to that particular stage, and when it was like, enough is enough. I can't keep being harassed. And we know, we all live in Nigeria. We know the kind of environment that we live in, and the fact that women are not protected. And so you find women across everywhere, even little children are being, harassed sexually. And now we have someone at the level that she is speaking out, and yet, they're sort of like trying to silence her. And I think what is most instructive, and I haven't seen this from the Senate, is the fact that there needs to be an independent investigation. Nothing is being said about this. Focus is more on technicalities. And even if we go into the technicalities, when I see us talking about, the Senate being an institution that needs to be protected, it has its own laws and everything, why is it that the Senate, it looks as if it's almost like it has a court-like, mafia-like kind of appearance to it, whereby there are members who behave badly, who do badly. You never see the Senate coming out to actually punish them or suspend them at any time. And this is a pattern. Nigeria needs to watch out for this pattern. At any time that you see, any member of the National Assembly being suspended or something like that, it is either they're standing for the people, they're speaking up on issues that are happening, they're revealing information, or they're fighting injustice. And it becomes very easy to suspend it. And I'll give you a quick example. We saw a situation whereby, not this assembly, we saw a situation whereby a senator was caught on camera physically molesting a lady where he had gone to buy something. At the end of the day, fellow senators were saying to him, do you want us, we want us to protect you or not? And they ended up protecting him, and they didn't do anything about it. And if you think that the Senate is an institution that should be respected, they should begin to live by those examples. In terms of the sitting arrangement, we've even seen the Senate president, when he was a floor member, had also had its meltdown and breakdown over sitting arrangement. And this is not the first time. Senator Natasha is not the first to go ahead and do it. And so when we focus on technicalities and not on the issues and the injustice that we've seen, and to quickly add that on the issue of her writing her petition, yes, when you have a case, you are supposed to be the one to write your own petition. There are certain rules if they don't make sense, if it's not about equity, if there's no justice to it. Sometimes you have to challenge those rules. Petitions that are coming from your members, from your constituencies, of course you're not supposed to sign it. But let me ask amongst the rules, I'm not very familiar with the Senate rules, so I would say yes, I'm not knowledgeable enough. But the question I will ask, is there a place where it explicitly says that if you are writing a petition against a fellow senator, is that you're not supposed to sign it, or is it the signing is only when petition is being brought in from your constituency? But beyond that also, and the biggest travesty of it all, is the fact that the accused was also the judge in this case. If you're talking about the Senate being an institution that is so well respected, that is supposed to be of members who are distinguished, even though they haven't distinguished themselves, you would expect that they would have had the courage to have said to the Senate president, step down on this issue. Let someone else, an impartial person, stay on it and, take charge of that particular session. And if the members of the Senate were unable to have the courage to do this, then you would have thought that integrity would have made the Senate president to excuse himself and come down and say, on this issue, since I'm the one who is being accused, let me step down and let this go on. None of that happened. And for me, the question is this: what right does the Senate or members of the Senate have to take away something that the Constitution of this country has given someone? Senator Natasha was not made a senator by her fellow senators in the Senate. She was made a senator by her constituents who voted for her. And even when there was issue with that whole election, she went to court and she got her mandate back. And so they cannot strip her of something that they were not the ones that gave them. And I don't think it makes sense for you to suspend somebody for 6 months. They don't have a right. They shouldn't have a right. And that should be challenged. And that has been challenged before. To suspend anybody from their legislative duty, what they can have a right to is to suspend you maybe from taking part in committee activities, from taking part in some oversight function. But for this is a travesty that we should all, stand up for. And let me just end up by saying that Senator Natasha was not humiliated. The Senate humiliated itself. It shows that it's full of men and women who don't have courage, who do not understand that they are all first among equals, and that they were sent in by their citizens, and their allegiance is supposed to be to the Constitution, to Nigeria, and to their constituents. They decided that they were going to bow their heads and do nothing when they saw injustice being done. And I will end with Senator Natasha's words. This injustice will not be sustained. And this will be the beginning that will lead to a shift in this country, by the grace of God.